Right, hello class and teachers and 6E. Please take your seats. We are still on the same strand. We're still on the same outcome, 6.4.2. On the same strand, at and beyond, and our substrand at. Our strand at and beyond, and substrand at and its origin. All right, let's go through our homework at the beginning that were given to you. Homework, let's see, our first person to give the homework. Laka, could you read us the question for homework before the answer is given? Read the question for our homework.
Describe what is happened in the experiment in your own words.
Right. Describe the experiment that you saw in your lesson, which is an experiment on weathering and erosion. First person.
The scented to mud.
Taran, would you like to help your friend? All right, we'll come to Val. Val?
The wind and the water makes the surface weak so the soil can be roasted.
Very good. Thank you for the answer. Let's listen to Carol's answer. Carol.
The experiment shows the rock, the cycle of the rock from weathering to erosion, erosion to transport to dispersion, and now new rock. Sorry.
All right. Thank you very much, Carol. And the last one. Minol.
Wetting take place through the wind and rain, and beads are carried away by winds, and water deposed as sedimentary.
Okay. Thank you, Minol. All right. Like you saw in your experiment, let's say this is the top of the mountain. Let me just show you. Can see it. So when you have raindrops, as rain, and then you have wind blowing here, and then when the rain drops, it carries down all the what? All the soil, fine particles of sand and clay. Once it comes down to the lake or towards the mouth of the river, all these sediments and large pieces of rock begin to settle down. They begin to settle down. And this continues, this cycle continues, weathering and erosion continues. And a new layer of sediments begin to form again. So we have the first layer, and then we have the new layer again. And over time, over hundreds of years, thousands of years, there are layers. So the first layer is down here, and then we have the second layer, and then we have the third layer, and over the years, new layers begin to form, and the new soil begins to be on top of the other. This soil on top then presses down on the first layer, second layer, and that is where the formation of rocks or sedimentary rocks are made over thousands of years, or millions of years. So what you saw in the experiment, and some of you explained, is the process of erosion and weathering, which carries down sediments or clay and fine sand, and deposits them in the lower lines of the earth, which is in the valleys or rivers and lakes. All right, we will go into our lesson topic today, which is on the Earth's changing surface. In your previous lessons, you looked at how the Earth was formed some 4.5 billion years ago, believed to be formed from dust and clouds of gases. Now, I'll give you 1 minute. 1 minute with your group to discuss this question. Your time starts now. 60 seconds to discuss, you and your friends, this question that is written on the board. Is the Earth surface changing? All right, the first group. Let's have your answers to, or your discussions of the question, is the Earth's surface changing? Okay, boys and girls. Jason?
Earth's surface change changing. Just because when the rain falls heavy, it causes flood on the lower surface and landslide on the higher ground.
All right, thank you for your answers. Thank you for your answer, very good. Next group. While they're still thinking, we'll come back to them. We'll move to the next group. We'll come back. Next group. Answer, ready yourself. All right.
Is the Earth's surface changing? No, because the Earth is like a large rock that spins around in space.
Yes.
Yes. Your answer.
Because the heat of the sun causes dry land.
Because the
Heat of the sun.
heat of the sun
Causes dry land.
causes fire. Fire.
Dry land.
Any others would like to give the answers? Jason. Good, Jason. Give us your answer.
Yes. Because of the global warming,
Because of
climate change.
all right. Some of you have given these answers, and there are some more, many more. All right. We are going to look at. Some of you still have yes or no answers or doubts in you whether the earth is changing or whether the earth is not changing. The surface of the earth is changing or the surface of the earth is not changing. But remember, when the earth began 4.5 million years ago, 4.5 billion years ago, how did it end up like this, and how did human beings end up like this? Well, we are looking at scientists' point of view, how the earth was formed. Okay, good. Some already carried away in the discussion, so I'll give you the activity. The question. How is it changing? You said it is changing. Yes, it is changing. You said no, it is not changing. Your question. How is it changing? And some of you did answer that in the first part. So in your activity today, you'll be working in your groups. So, your activity question number 1. Is what causes the Earth's surface to change? So I'll give you 1 minute to discuss with your friend in groups, and the next 4 minutes to draw up a mind map of what causes the earth to change. could copy down the questions as quickly as you can. You should be discussing with your friends. The 1 minute is up now. You should be working on the mind map. Do you know how to do that? The first question. That is your first question. If you're not sure of what to do, please raise your hands. Up to you. If you want to join the papers to make it big, or you can use only one paper. The next question. Once you have listed down those causes that change the surface of the earth, you need to explain how it changes the surface of the earth. This is what you're supposed to do, a mind map. You have 3 minutes remaining. I'll give you a clue. Many of these changes, you watch them on the news or that are happening. decide with your group. You can write one word or one short sentence. That's it. Remind me. One group is almost finished. What do you think? What causes the Earth's surface to change? You've been learning. How? Climate change is too big. You need to specify. Climate change is too big. Climate change is too big. So you specify one or two things about climate change. What contributes to climate change? What makes climate change? Ready? Okay. We'll have your group present and then we can. All right. We have come to our time where it is time for us to have a look at your work. So let's have the first group which has completed their activity. All right, let's have Lorraine and her friends to present their group work, what they have come up with to the first question, what causes the Earth's surface to change? Now there are many things that causes the Earth's surface to change, which are happening throughout the year, or in 1,000,000 years, or in 100 years. And many of you have seen that, receiving students, you can see some changes in your areas 10 years ago or 20 years ago, or maybe you have heard from your parents or seen it for yourself. So let's have Lauren and the friends to present their work.
What causes the Earth's surface to change is man-made changes, climate changes, natural disasters. The man-made changes, example, mining. Climate change is global warming. Natural disaster is volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption.
Very good. I think they have made three groups of identified three, and we have man-made changes. One of the man-made change example is mining, and the other is climate change, which is global warming. And we hear much about global warming on the news and read them in the newspapers, and even people are talking about them. And the other is the natural disaster, for example, volcanoes. We are living on an island that is in the ring of fire in the Pacific, which includes Papua New Guinea, where it is an area of volcanic activity. So they have identified that as one example. Very good. Thank you. Give them 2 claps. So those are some of the examples. All right. Listen, teachers, if the students have not completed the activity, you may continue after the lesson and continue with the next question. Let's continue with the next question. Lorraine, can you explain how volcanic eruption can change the landform, or mining changes the landform? Just explain how mining changes the landform.
It changes the Earth's surface by its interaction with the Earth.
With the Earth. What is that? Eruption or volcanic eruption or mining?
Volcanic eruption.
Okay. Right. When the volcano erupts, it changes the form. The volcano blows out and the lava flows into the sea and creates a new landmass, joining, extending, and throwing up soil and throwing up hot molten rocks, which later becomes soil, fertile soil or hard rocks when it is cooled. So, the rest of you, if you have not completed the question, you may keep that as your homework, or complete that as your homework and bring it in the next lesson for your question 2. All right. There are contributing factors to the changes of the Earth. Some we see it physically, some we feel the changes of the Earth. Some we can identify, some we cannot identify. But scientists have stated a few of the causes that changes the surface of the Earth. So take some changes caused to the surface of the Earth. our key word for today is changes. Our next lesson topic is who changes the earth. And if you have the following materials to be prepared for your next lesson. You may also ask your students, you may also ask your parents to tell them to tell you a story of the place you live, the place where you live around. Was there any changes? Did you move from one place to another? Was there some kind of change in the area? So with that, thank you, receiving teachers and students, and class, for your participation.